Hi everyone, Boone here. Welcome back to Boone Builds. I have the great pleasure of having Jan Beyer with me. Jan, thank you so much. I appreciate you being
Hello,
here.
hello Boone, hello rest of world. Thank you.
Jan, you have been with the Lego Group for 17 years,
Yes, 17 years.
and you do a lot of work. Today we're going to be talking about the Lego house. We're going to be talking about the Lego branded stores. We're going to be talking about AFOL networking events. And you kind of have your hand in all of those things, right?
Yes, exactly, and a lot of more things.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. So, but what? Tell us just a little bit about what's the state of things like right now, just for you and your home, and how are you working in the current state of the world?
Yes, exactly. So you all know that the situation is difficult for everybody, and I had scheduled a few trips to a few events, and usually I work also a couple of days per week from the Billund office because that's where I'm usually sitting. But this all has been a bit changed since mid of March. So since mid March, I'm kind of sitting home in my little room, or better said, in my wife's office, because as a teacher, she has a nice office, and I'm usually, lending or borrowing the desk a bit. So that's why there are a lot of books behind me. Um, but yeah, it has been a little bit. Let's say a crisis situation you get a little bit used to now, which is weird. You should not get used to a crisis situation, but it seems it takes very long. Yeah, but right now it's my life changed a bit from planning a lot of physical events and working with people who run physical events to doing a lot of online stuff. So we have luckily a lot of events that are also doing an online activity. So I try to find colleagues. I try to work with these people to get things done. Try to work with colleagues around online opportunities. For example, with the Lego House, they do a few online things. Yeah, try to educate the colleagues at the Lego branded stores about AFOLs while the stores are closed. So let's say I made a lot of plans at the beginning of the year, and this changed drastically since
Yeah,
March 15.
I I imagine. I feel like things have changed dramatically for me. I had no idea. We had these dreams about like what this year was going to be like, especially sort of during and after Lego Masters airing here in the United States. And we're not doing a lot of the things that we imagined we might be doing this time. But um, I just wanted to say a real quick hi. We'll say hi to some folks in the live chat. We got Chris, we got PD Brick Films, Chantel, Pause Up, Alfonso, Janelle, hello. I think I saw Dave Morgan. Dave Morgan is one of our moderators, so thank you so much for being here, Dave. And Dave recognized your shirt, Jan. He said, nice shirt, Jan.
Yes, thank you.
Jan is representing the local Lego fan convention here. Um, so thank you all so much for being here. You've already gotten just a little bit of taste of like what kinds of things Jan has been working on at Lego over the years, and we're going to dive into that. So if you all have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll do the best we can to answer some of those. So Jan, why don't you take me back? I'm gonna show our slides now. Um, Tell us a little bit about this picture and why is it important to you?
Yes, and I think it's important to me, but it's probably also important to a few AFOs because it seems these sig figs or Lego business minifigures turn a bit into collectibles. But yeah, it's probably reminding me about that I would love to get cloned because there's so many things happening in the AFOL world. I would love to participate. I would love to be part of. I would love to join to support. So I wish I could, yeah, be more than myself to be everywhere. But it's fun to have these little cards because it's definitely something you if when you give them to people, they then tend to not forget about you. And it's also really nice to walk a bit around in shows, physical shows, and put them on some displays you really like or something. So it's a cool little accessory. I'm pretty happy about to have and to use frequently.
Yeah, I meant to get yours out and so that I could show it here, but it's over there, and I'm not
So
gonna.
so you want to say your collection is not perfectly sorted?
No, no. In fact, I think yours. This is actually a fun thing. I think your a lot of these Lego employee sig figs have passed through my hands
Mm.
because people know I'm going to be somewhere and they say, hey, can you try to get so and so's figure? And I ask and I get it for them, and then I bring it home and I give it to someone else. So I've had a lot of them, but yours is the only one I think I've kept.
Oh, really?
I may have someone. I think I have one. I think I have one woman, and yours is but I don't know where hers is. I know where yours is. It's over there in a drawer, and but I forgot to get it out. But it's funny. I'm not a huge minifigure collector, but some people certainly are, and I know a lot of people that have these over and over and over again. But
I
I have.
have my little.
See if I had mine, you could pretend you were handing it to me, and I could.
Exactly, we could do that. Yeah, that's perfect. Next
So
time.
yeah, we'll make that happen. So we'll just kind of go through the pictures here. What why don't you just dive in? You talk.
Yes, so that Boone asked if I could send him a few pictures, and I basically took my iPhone and I actually deleted or not deleted, but moved a lot of pictures from the iPhone because I lately got a new one, and the capacity on the iPhone is kind of limited, at least on that one, the company one. So a lot of pictures went out, but I basically looked through what I have, and what's really important for me, and a lot of pictures I sent to Boone are showing that is kind of getting people together, because that was actually my I started many years ago with Lego, and I started out in the legal department because that's probably not too much with AFOLs, but then slowly I was introduced to a lot of AFOLs in the community, and it always was important for me to see that people get together, because the AFOL hobby is nice, but you need to be together and enjoy the time. So these pictures are, the first one was from Taiwan, the second one was from Poland, this one is actually from South Korea. So you see a few Lego employees around me, and the rest is actually AFOLs. It's ambassadors from all the Korean fan groups, and that was really, it's such a great time to meet all these people and bring them together. And you also make connections. You then, if you speak to other people, sometimes people say, hey, do you know this guy, or do you know somebody who can help with that? And then you really can pull people out of the drawer, names or emails or whatever, and saying like, speak to this guy, speak to that guy, and then you link the world together. So that was always very close to my heart, and it's still very important for me.
So I'm interested. How do you feel like? You said you've been with Lego for 17 years.
Hmm.
How many have you been working with the sort of AFOL community for most of that time?
Yes, I started, as I said, I started out in the legal department, and that was the first year, because actually my profession is a lease administrator, so I work with leases in Germany, and then Lego was looking for somebody who could take care of some leases in Switzerland, and also Lego planned to open some brand retail stores in Germany. So of course it was an advantage to speak German, know the German terms for all these lease things. So I ended up in the legal department, and actually, back then, the legal department was in the Kirkby building, which is kind of the investment company from Lego and from Kiel. And actually, the office looked more like a bank. It still looks like a bank. And I was like, that's weird. We had Lego, so there should be bricks everywhere. And I was frantically running in the employee store and buying sets and building them, put them into my office, and everybody's like, okay, this looks really, wow, that's really, it looks like a showroom. It's like, yeah, I love Lego. It looks too boring for me here. And then I slowly ended up to talk to some other people, and actually one of the colleagues, she is the wife of the head of our department, and she was like, hey, do you know there's some AFOL, some adult people who build with Lego bricks, and we have a colleague, Jake McKee, in the US, but he has some challenges to work with some European ones, because mentality sometimes is a bit different. Are you interested? And then I said yes, and then I slowly got into it. So I started then to work half-time for AFOLs, for AFOL department, or AFOL engagement, and then half-time for brand retail, and then it slowly got there. And I think after 2 years I was full-time working with AFOLs. And then I also started the Scareback Fan Weekend, or back then the Lego Fan Weekend, to actually, it was awkward, I felt, to tell people how they should do events, or what I think was good and what was not so good, or give them advice without having tried to do an event myself. So that was actually only planned for a couple of years, and now we are I think in the 15th year or something like that. So it's really,
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
so it feels so long ago. It's so huge development, and I was traveling sometimes 3 weekends in a row, going to events in Germany and the Netherlands and a lot of areas. And at some point I oversaw the whole of Europe and then Eastern Europe and Asia Pacific. So traveled to a lot of events, met a lot of people, and that's what I love: meeting people, talking to people, get a great. Get great relationships. That's really and friends. A lot of people are really also friends.
Yeah. Well, PD Brick Films says, Boone Builds, can you tell him working at Lego is my dream? So I know that the people around the world are inspired by all the things that you all do. So thank you very much, and thanks for being here. So the next picture I've got here is you in front of a boat. What's going on
Yes,
here?
and that's in Hong Kong, and that's the Star Ferry, and that's my most beloved piece of transportation in the world. I could cross Victoria Harbour with these ships all day long, basically
Mm.
sitting there and watching. And the Hong Kong AFOLs knew that, so they actually built me. I think I have 5 different copies of the Star Ferry at home in my little Lego room upstairs. One like this, I can even see it like this size, and then smaller ones.
Yeah.
So it's so fantastic. It's an awesome thing. So when you ever have the chance to go to Hong Kong, take the Star Ferry. It's lovely, and Hong Kong is it's a beautiful place, and the AFOLs are great, and so resourceful and fantastic people.
Awesome.
Yes, there you can see some, you can see you can see guys. I think it's in Taiwan, but you can actually see a guy from Hong Kong. Then you can see Reg and one of my colleagues, Jackie. He was responsible for China, but he unfortunately decided to change jobs. So we are a little bit short on China colleague right now, but that will hopefully come again. But that was great times, great memories.
That's wonderful. I
Yes,
love these. This reminds me so much of, sitting around these tables just with, I just remember the times that I met, the time I met Paul Hetherington was a setting like
yes,
this, and I'm thinking about a time being around a table with Jake Sadovich and Steve Peterson and Cody Otley and all the people, from this area. And when I went to that one was in Chicago. Anyway, it's awesome. This is cool. I love what you do, and it's incredible to see um, how many parts of the world you've been to. All right, well, this is a face I recognize.
yeah. You have seen that guy before?
Yeah, I saw him. I've seen him. Let's see. I've seen him on TV. I've seen him
Yes.
in photographs, and I saw him from a distance once, and did
Yeah.
not
Okay.
meet him face to face. But we subsequently we have made acquaintance through Messenger on the
Yeah,
internet.
and
So
Nathan, he's so great. He's such a lovely guy, and of course he's also a building great. So I have let me move. I have one of his hackmen behind me. The blue
okay,
guy, if you can see him. So I got a hackman from him, but it's
here I'll oh, sorry. Can I make you the we might be able to see him. Can you see it one more time? Yeah, there
can you
he is. He's up
can you
there.
see him? He's up there. Oh,
Yep.
up there, there,
Yeah.
behind me. So he is. Should I pull him up? No, it's fine, right?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Raise your
But
raise your hand in the live chat if you know if you've seen Nathan Soya's work. So I think most of you have.
but Nathan, he's a great guy, and it's so great. Also, I also work with the LCPs, and I work with all of these LCPs, and I know them for years, and it's so great also to reach out to these people, and also to see members of the community to become an LCP. It's you probably have worked with for, it's of course a sad situation sometimes. Also when people get employed. Not that I'm sad about that AFOLs get employed in the Lego group, but it's kind of sometimes it's really I'm really sad because of people who are super active are of course them that get employed, and then I'm kind of losing them out of the community. So I'm
Sure.
happy for them, but I'm also sad for them for that. So it's really weird feeling sometimes.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I was just that occurred to me just yesterday, and I don't know if this is necessarily exactly what you're talking about, but somebody posted a picture of the new brick sketch. Is it brick sketches that
Yes,
were put
exactly.
out, which are by Chris McVeigh, right? And he was out there, he was doing that stuff. Nobody ever saw him because he stayed home all the time. But then all of a sudden, he made this announcement. Power Pig Online was his name, and
Yeah. Yeah.
all of a sudden, like 2 years ago, he made this announcement. All right, everybody, I have to close up shop. I'm going to Denmark,
Yeah.
and I was like, woo! And then I just yesterday saw those images of the new
But
product that were.
and it's so crazy with Chris because I believe he not really was participating in a lot of shows or probably no shows. So I think the guy who's running Brixel, Hugh Millington, he because he's doing a lot of cruises, so he went on a cruise and he ended up in Halifax and he was meeting with Chris and he said like, wow, I met Chris McRae, and that was really like, wow, that's fantastic. And then we
Yeah.
invited him to come to the Lego house and exhibit. Funny enough, in the Lego house, it seems one spot is the spot where you get hired if you display there. We're just kidding, but we had a few people who displayed on the same spot in the masterpiece gallery and got hired.
Yeah.
So Chris displayed there, and I was meeting him there and welcoming him, and it was super great to meet him. And then it's great that he got the job. So yes, I also have a portrait. It's on my Facebook account. The picture on my Facebook is actually a portrait made by Chris.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. Here we've got the next photo.
Yeah, and all these pictures are a bit in random order. Oh yeah, I took that picture because there's my former colleague Kim on it, and I miss him almost every day, and it's very sad that he's not with Lego anymore. But he's fine, and he's happy. I spoke to him last week. But that's in Portugal, that's I think it's their ship they use for teaching the cadets or something. So it's called Sagres. It's a beautiful model, and that was at the Paris de Cura fan weekend in Portugal.
Yeah, you actually Kim introduced me to you, and I think it was probably the same day that I met him for the first time face to face.
Really? So that was in Denmark at the Fan Media Days, right?
Fan Media Days. It was a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yes. I remember that. Yeah, that was great.
And then I got to see you again at Bricks Cascade. All right, who do we have here?
You can see happy Romanians at at the Lego house. But it's so great, bring nations together, and these people are my friends. It's really they came all the way from Romania to join the Scareback Fan Weekend, to join the Eiffel Day in Lego house, and I love this picture because they look so. They look so unhappy, but they're so great guys. So they are usually very happy. I think this picture is. It's crazy.
Are we getting the pictures in too random in order to talk about, or are we okay?
No, that's all fine. You take the pictures in. It's also more or less random. I choose them. No, not I chose them, but it's kind of a bit in random order. But because this is an event that had happened in Croatia, it was Ed Petrak. I'm not sure if you know him, Edward Petrak. He's really a guy who has been one of, at least in Eastern Europe and in Europe, a guy who has traveled to almost every event, super active guy. And he started also to make his own event. I had high hopes for turning this event also into an Eiffel networking event, where everybody comes to and have a great time and enjoy together. Unfortunately, a lot of the people who were behind the event left Croatia because the economical situation was not that good, and they found jobs elsewhere. Even Ed, he moved to Norway now. But it was great to meet these people, to be at this events. Events in Eastern Europe are so inspiring. Not that other events are not inspiring. Don't get me wrong, but it's great to see what the people are doing, to meet these people from these areas. It's always so great, and I have traveled a lot of countries there, and it's always a lot of fun to meet people there and enjoy their hospitality and have a great time with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this picture. I wish. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer to it. I don't.
Yeah, but it's so far away because the mosaic is so big.
Right.
Because that is actually in Lego House where we made the world record attempt to make the world's largest mosaic built from Lego bricks. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was huge. I think it was 150 square meters or even bigger. So huge. And this was actually, the Lego house made a post out of it so that the people who came there, because it was a public building, it was colleague buildings building it, so that the people who came, while it was not was done, to see how it at the end would look like. And the only, and it was made by Fairy Bricks. Fairy Bricks is a kind of charity organization, also a Lego user group, and they are actually working with Lego to donate Lego sets to children hospitals around the world. So it's a really, really great course, and they're doing great stuff, and they're building mosaics to earn money with that. So the Lego House made this, and then we had invited the Guinness Book of World Records, and unfortunately, on the way to the airport, the Guinness Book World Record guys had an accident, and they never made it to Denmark.
Oh no!
Yes, so it was really a pity. So the end of all this was a little bit sad because everything was lined up. We even had the news and telly and everything lined up, and the guys basically had an accident and not catch the plane and not arrived. So
I feel like
you have these stories.
I feel like I've heard that happening with Guinness like a lot of times. Like it all comes down to like, can they get there on the day that you do the thing? And anyway. Okay.
But it was a really a pity. But the mosaic was fantastic. I actually built the first plate and I built the last plate, and I still have them. So it's really cool, and it was so fun. And working with Fairy Bricks and Kev, who is in charge of it, is a tremendous pleasure. So it's really, really great.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, here we got, and I've seen you do this in a couple of. Is this L for Lego?
It's L for Lego because that's what the Asians are actually. I'm not sure if they have invented it, but that's what they're using. They use L for Lego.
Okay.
So that's what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
but
is
you don't do this because that means something different.
Yeah. No. Don't do that.
just a. I like that.
Yeah.
Can I have permission to steal that?
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There's no copyright on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to. No, but I only was, it's for me it was pretty new to come to Asia. This is of course not Asia. This is I think is Romania or Serbia. I'm not sure, but these are the ambassadors from the region. But it was a bit weird for me to come to Asia for the first time. And in Asia, it's very common for people to take pictures with you. And for me, it was like because I'm not necessarily the person who feels that I need to be on stage and be very much in the light. For me, it's more like important that the A-folds are shining, that we can do great things together. Supporting the people who do the coolest things. And for them, when I went to the first shows, everyone was like, "Oh, can we take a picture with you? Can And everyone was like this and this and whatever they did. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird, but at the end you get a bit used to it. But it's probably like a few designers, at the beginning they were probably asked by a lot of people to sign boxes, and they were like, that's strange. But now people get more used to it. I think a few people always have a pen with them now because they got so many times asked. But it's a strange feeling because at the end you feel a bit you have not really done anything. Why would people be interested in taking a picture of you? Or people ask me sometimes to sign a set, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with that set. Why should I sign it? But I don't know. I think in Asia it's very common, and also in other parts of the world I encountered that lately. So I'm not sure if that's a new trend.
I think it's becoming more. I feel like I've had experiences like that. At Bricks Cascade a couple of years ago, we had a layout that was like Apocalypseburg, and part of it was the official set, and then we kind of expanded on that.
Yes.
And Nico Voss was there.
Yeah, that was where I was. That was the 2009. That was last year's show, wasn't it?
Yeah. So just like over a year ago.
Yes, 19.
And Mark Cruikshank asked Nico to sign the Apocalypseburg because he had heard that Nico designed it, but Nico didn't design it. Nico designed I think Nico did some work on the version of Apocalypseburg that was used in the film. And so to Nico, he was like, yeah, I'll sign that. And Justin Ramsden was at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 signing the Barb minifigures, even though he didn't design Barb. He designed the Stranger Things. Anyway, I just think, I think what it comes down to is people want to feel like they're part of something, and people want to feel like they have an experience, and people want to feel like they got to meet, people that in their minds did, are part of something significant, right? And so
And I think also I like the approach that we all did things as a team, because the set designers cannot do anything without the building construction guys, or the guys who design the bricks, or doing the manufacturing, or the engineers, or whatever, the marketeers. I could not do things without my colleagues. It's really important that we all remember it's a team, and we all did things or achieved things together. I think that's only important to remember. But if people like that, of course, why not? It's great.
Right. Awesome. All right. Here you are in front of a large duck.
Yes, and that large duck is, if I remember, I'm not 100% sure, but if I remember correctly, I think it's actually built by Sean Kenny. So the former LCP from New York, I think he is moving to the Netherlands soon. But it's actually at a Lego-driven event in Prague. They made an exhibition together with another LCP, and I think he collected a few models. But I like the duck so much, so it's a super cool thing. And Czech Republic is doing great events. So.
That's wonderful.
You can see Brickeria, so they have photo opportunities. I think that's a nice thing. So people can stand in front of this wall and doing pictures, taking pictures. And I think it's frequently used in Asia. So Brickeria is actually also an event that has been organized many years ago. Started out because back then, when I started to travel Korea, the AFO community was very hidden. They were not talking to each other. They were not really doing things. So I still remember it as it was yesterday. I was actually traveling there, and I was actually renting a small cafe, and worked together with my colleagues from the local office, and try to invite a few members of the local community. And I was standing outside and watching and waiting. Okay, people should come soon. Time is up. They should come in. And people were passing by, and I could remember a few faces because people were passing by a few times. And then I said, like, "Hey, are you here for the Lego?" And the people, sneaked in, and then they took their shirts or took their jackets off, and suddenly they had Lego shirts beneath. So it was, so the Korea is a very conservative country. So people are probably, if you work in a bank, it might be weird for your customers that you actually are interested in a kid's toy.
Sure.
And that was kind of very funny at the beginning, but then later on people got really hooked, and we did this big convention. We started out with that, and then at some point I was not responsible for Asia anymore. A colleague from China took over, and but I'm still proud of that event because it's a really great event. It's a joint venture between the Lego office and the local fans. So I think that is also a great thing. It's a bit like a Lego World, or like these Kids Fest, these connections. So it's not a solely AFL event. It's a mix.
Right. Oh, I skipped one. Did we already see this one?
Yes.
Okay.
We did.
How about this?
That's Dave, Dr. Dave. He's actually the ambassador for Brixet, and he's there was a fantastic dinner we had after. Oh, now I need to remember. It was a show in London, actually. I think it was a big show we had in London, and then we all went out and had a great evening together. So it was such a memorable evening for the UK AFOLs and also a few colleagues. So we had really a lot of fun there. It was a great evening. So that picture is kind of a great picture. It's basically there because it's great.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yes. You might know this guy. I'm not sure, but he's very, very known. He's a very long-term AFOL. His name is Mirek Enderle. And he is so far the only AFOL I encountered that has an elevator in his house to go to his Lego room.
Wow.
Yes, yes. That was the same reaction when I went to his home. He's living close to Prague, and he's a huge train fan, and he has a huge train layout in the attic of his house. And he is kind of, and then I basically got there, and he was like, "Yeah, let's go upstairs." And then, okay, yeah, where are the stairs? No, we're taking the elevator. It's like, really? You say you have an elevator in your house to go to your Lego area? Yeah. So that was so fantastic to experience that. And as I said, the Czech people, they're doing great shows. They're doing a bit different style because they're doing more these long-term museum shows. So they do not necessarily a museum, but long-term shows. So basically put their mocks in a place for 2-3 months, and then have people come in and show it. So it's a different style from many other groups doing these shows.
And what was the is that the Porsche in his hand? What was the
Yes,
significance?
that's the Technic Porsche. So it was pretty new back then. So we actually I brought it with me to Czech Republic so they could see it live, because seeing a
Nice.
model live, I think, is I think you also saw that many years ago we actually tried to do these exclusive unveilings at shows, and exclusive is always very difficult for us, because as a company in this size, with production in many locations and dealers in many areas and catalogs that are physically sent out to many places, it's really difficult, unfortunately, to keep things secret, that you can do an exclusive unveiling. And I was always a bit bummed when I said, hey, I'm doing exclusive unveiling, and then I travel to somewhere, and you check your phone, and exactly like 7 hours before you are set, it's like leaked somewhere. So that's kind of,
Right.
it always has been a bit disappointing. I think it is really a long time ago that I remember that we did actually an exclusive unveiling at a show. I think it was at the Great Western Train Show in Swindon in the UK, that we could unveil. I even had Jamie Barab with me, so we could unveil a set live, actually, and we did it at the same time as BrickCon in Seattle, because the timing fit very well, and it's the same weekend. And but that's many years ago, that we really could do it without anything that leaked, and nobody knew about it, and everyone was surprised. So we went a little bit back and said, like, oh, this exclusive unveilings are not really working so well for us. But I really still like to bring physically the sets to somewhere and say, hey, you can see it for the first time physically, or here you get a copy, build it, and try it, because I think that's still really important for the AFOLs to get their hands on, instead of only seeing pictures, because seeing pictures is, for me, like, everybody can do a kind of Photoshop thing. That's not the real thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Holy moly.
Yes, that's I think the dream or the nightmare, depends on who you're asking, of a Harry Potter castle, and it's so big. And he made the bridge. You can see I'm sitting on the bridge actually there, and he made especially this bridge so stable that people could sit on it. So this is his what do you call a photo opportunity, or his the point where you sit to take pictures.
Yeah, right.
But it's so crazy. It's also a Czech guy, and the Czech people are they're doing huge shows. They're doing so. If you ever have the chance to go to a Czech show from Koski, you should do that, because they're building castles, and they have beautiful castles, as real castles, also in Czech Republic. So they build these castles, and they're really good in building big, impressive things. So this is, yeah, you can see the size. It's huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I
it is.
thought who was it? Oh, someone not far from here built a pretty big Hogwarts, but it was not that big.
Alice Finch. Yeah.
Alice Finch built an incredible Hogwarts, and
beautiful.
There's a picture of her, like she must have taken it to a big studio, and there's a picture of her standing with it, and I'm like, holy smokes! But then this one's got to be, this one's twice that big.
This one must be even bigger. I have not seen Alice one, but this one is like so huge. I cannot even imagine. I have no idea how big it is, and how many bricks, and how it's crazy. But it's lovely. It's really nice. But you can see, there are minifigures on this little balcony in front. You can see minifigures standing there, right?
Oh, right. So it's almost like did he build this in like actual minifig scale?
Yeah. Yes, so that's another part of what I'm partly joining. So it's a Lego Inside Tour, and Lego Inside Tour is now, it formerly has been run in our department, but it has moved to the Lego house some time ago. So it's actually we are kind of presenting I'm not really sure from which year that is. People might know that better than I. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago. So it's a yellow truck, the Lego show truck. But it's kind of, that's the people from the Lego house I mostly work with, and then it's my colleague Sanne, who back then did the not the design of the set, but all the project manager stuff around the set.
Awesome. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you might recognize that guy. So it's UMV.
Yeah, what does he have in his hand?
Yeah, that's a good question, right? It's actually a brick, a real brick,
Okay.
from the old factory building we had in Billund, and they tore it down and they built
Wow.
actually parts of the new. I'm not sure, Boone. When have you been? It's a while you have been to Billund, right?
It was still being built when I was
Okay,
there. I was
but
in
they built
Billund.
the they built the building where the Lego house parking garage is actually in and some shops. They built that out of the bricks of the old factory building they tore down. And some of these bricks actually I was able to get my hands on, and I basically went to Jörn and said, Jörn, can you sign those? He said, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, no problem. So they're actually in my little stash warehouse I have in Billund, because I have a little stash and I have stuff I have collected for the past. I've not started 17 years ago, but I probably started 15 years ago to collect things. So they are very, very exclusive, rare things in there. I'm usually using in connection to AFL networking events to give them as auction stuff, charity stuff, prizes, something like that.
Do you have any incredibly rare items you could show us
And right
with
now in my
you?
hand, no, not really, not really. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I wish I could, but it's really. I have the Ferry Bricks truck. That's probably, you know. This is probably a bit rare. I got that actually from Kev. I think they only made a few ones because this is
Wow.
actually in connection to, when was it? 2 years ago, actually, a few people from Ferry Bricks decided to bike from London, from the
Yes,
Leicester
yes.
store to Billund to the Lego house, and
And
they
one of
made
the
it.
one of the bicycles was built out of Lego, right?
Exactly. One of the
Yes.
bicycles was actually, let's say it was a bike which was covered by Lego,
Sure, sure.
but it looked like a Lego bike. Really, also from the view like a Lego bike, and it was a fantastic experience. And they made this to commemorate that, so it was super cool because on the A4 day in Lego House, the Thursday before Scareback Fem weekend, they arrived. They biked into the Lego House. Kjell was there to welcoming them, and he gave a speech, and it was a it was a fantastic experience, and I think it was a fundraiser, and it was super super cool. So it was really great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I remember
Yes,
seeing. I remember seeing because Hugh was on that team, right? That
yes, he was on the team. Yes,
he was the person that I knew at the time when I saw that video of them
yeah.
riding into the Lego house, and that's great.
It,
All
it
right.
was so crazy. It was so much fun. Yes, that's actually a picture when Kjell visited last time, or the yeah, I think it was probably last time the Scareback Fan Weekend. So it's the steering group. It's Casper, who is now in LCP. It's Thomas and Stefan, who are the guys behind Scareback Fan Weekend, and then Kjell. So it's a really nice picture. So they made a little photo opportunity when we had nice weather. The weather is
Yeah.
it's end of September, so the weather can be from one end to the other end in Denmark around that
Right.
time of the year.
Right.
Yes, that's Michael, and you might know Michael, but he's actually the European god of great ball contraption. I'm
Ah.
not sure if great ball contraption is still very big in North America,
We oh, well, I mean, it's
because
very
at
big
the
on
end you invented it.
it's very big on YouTube.
Mm. But at
And
live shows,
so the last one that I saw that was really huge was Chicago, Brickworld Chicago
okay,
last year.
yes,
Theirs was quite large.
okay, okay,
Um, and the other shows that I've been to, well, I should say that I think it just depends on which show, because if the show has a dedicated GBC enthusiast, they can tend to bring in others, right? And then they start
mm,
collaborating and they turn it into something huge.
mm,
And if the local show doesn't have a big presence or doesn't have like one or two really significant GBC fans, then there tends not to be a big GBC presence.
okay,
I saw. Um, oh man, when I'm doing streams, I can never remember people's names. Like Alice Finch, there's no reason I shouldn't have been able to remember Alice Finch's
yeah,
name. And
I
now I'm
remember her name.
now I'm trying to think of a gentleman from Laurie from I think, is he from Australia or New Zealand? He's a real big GBC guy. Laurie.
Yeah, could
Um,
be.
anyway, he came. He did two shows. Came all the way from Australia to do two shows in the United States last year. He was in
Yeah,
Brickwood, Chicago, and he was in Bricks by the Bay, and
okay,
I got to see his modules at both of those
cool.
shows. It was great. So they had great setups. Okay.
but Maiko, he is actually he made so many bricks. He also got a world record with that, and I think it was in Lego World Copenhagen. So they made actually a they made a it is so long concourse of these great ball contraptions that it took a ball to travel through for 45 minutes. And they had Kjell, because he's so excited about it. So Kjell was on site, and he was actually one of the not judges, but he overlooked the great the attempt, the Guinness Book World Record attempt. So he waited there for 45 minutes, and then the ball stopped at some point. So after whatever 30 minutes, so they needed to start again. So, but he was spending like 1.5 hours of his time on only watching this ball go through, and was so excited. So he's so excited about AFOS. He's also a huge fan of Akiyuki. I'm not sure if you know Akiyuki, but he's the Japanese great ball contraption god.
Right.
And we also had Akiyuki on visit in Billund, and I think I also sent you probably a picture. I don't remember, but Akiyuki is, when I was in Japan, I was that was the way around. Usually people ask me for a picture, and I needed to ask Akiyuki for a picture,
Right.
because
Right.
he's so shy but so famous.
Yeah. Joe is watching us on Facebook, and he said
Yes.
always at Brick World Chicago there are over 250
Yeah. Perfect.
modules.
Perfect.
And then Dr. Shefsik, which is this? Is this David? Dave?
Yeah, it must be Dave Shevchik, right?
Dave says Laurie George.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the gentleman that I was talking about. People come into the chat, and people in the chat always know. As soon as I start,
exactly.
As soon as I start a live stream, all the things that I know just go somewhere else.
Yeah, but that's great. So you have the people in the chat, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Next up, we have. Ooh, this is cool. This is a cool looking picture.
Yeah. So that's a good friend of mine from China. Actually, he is a former LCP and also Lego employee from China. And he visited us in Billund, and I actually gave him a tour to the Lego Idea House, as if Boone, you have been there, but in connection to the Fan Media Days. But if you're not familiar with that, so we have the Lego House, which is a public-facing experience, and then we have the Lego Idea House, which is company-facing experience or history experience. Is that the way you would describe it, Boone?
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
I think so.
So that's the place where
accurate.
the favorite or the most famous vault is. So below that they have a cellar with kind of moving shelves where you basically have, yes, exactly, almost all ever produced Lego set in one copy. So that's a I probably have, after all these times I have been down there, and especially also I had the task to support people who made a catalog back then, some AFOLs, and I spent several days down there. At some point, it was probably not my favorite again to be down there, because being down there for like 3-4 days from morning to late afternoon without any daylight was a bit exhausting. But it's I think when AFOLs come and visit, it's definitely a place they love to go.
It blew my mind.
Yes.
When got to go down there for Lego Fan Media Days, and it was I had heard that this place existed, and then to go down there and just see, and it's like I'm getting all of these, store aisles from all of the places I've lived through all the years of my life, and imagining like Kmart in 1987, Walmart in 1992, Target in 1998. You know what I mean? It's just all these memories as I'm like looking at these boxes. And anyway, that's
yeah, it's fantastic, and I love it. It's so great. People coming in, and then they can choose their most beloved set, and then they can take it out and take a picture with it, and it's a super awesome experience. I still love it, and I think I have been not down there for a while, so I probably should go down there again. But it's a super cool place.
How do these old models get there?
What do you mean?
Well,
Like, how the old boxes?
Yeah, like how did it become such a complete collection? Like
Yeah. It was at some point, let's say at the beginning, Lego was happy to sell the boxes. They were not interested in putting any boxes on shelves, so they were happy that they sold boxes. But at some point, when Lego grew over the Danish borders, and the second market after Denmark was actually Germany, so they started to move a little bit outside Denmark and grew bigger. It was back then a challenge that, of course, there were also back then some copy products or some legal things that you needed to prove that you made this set when, and you needed to have a physical copy of it. So back then it was actually a legal archive where people started, and it still partly is, where people started to take copies we produced and put them on the shelves to make sure that we can prove we have the set, we can take it in front of court with us and say, hey, here it's a real set, we have it, we made it. But now it's of course also part of the history collection. But the oldest ones that actually bought back, so they kind of buying sets, they exchange with other sets. They're constantly trying to find the sets they are still missing, or even in a better quality, what they probably have on stock, because it's not only one copy we have. We actually have 5 copies of each set. It's only one that is stored here. The other ones are in other places, because if you would have a fire or whatever, of course, it would not be good to have the same stuff in one place. So it's stored in several secure locations. But it's actually, we have historical people working for the history collection, and they are trying to get their hands on all of these sets. So I think it's a lot of detective work, I would say.
Yeah, when I was there, a gentleman named Christian
he's still
gave us
there.
a tour. He's still there.
Yes, Christian Reimer. Yes, he's a lovely guy. He's so great, and I love to chat with him and having a little guided tour or walk with him through the shelves. And he's still there.
I tried to stump him a couple times, and he knew pretty much everything. So
They're our historical experts. Yes, and that's one of the original, and that's even also in the Idea House. That's one of our original signs, with the motto of the Lego Group. So make it so it's the best is not good enough, or the Danish version, of course. So that's still the motto of the company.
Yeah.
So you can see it there. You can touch it. You can have a look on it.
Wow, that's awesome. And this, of course, the top of the Lego house. I'm going to put up this little banner because it seems like we're sort of in the middle of some Lego house images.
Go ahead if you can find some Lego house images. Yeah, a bit. So that's from the inside of the Lego house, and that's still in the setup phase.
Wow. Okay, so these are from when. Wow,
yes.
This is amazing. I've never seen these pictures before.
That's a tree of creativity. So, and this is actually the World Explorer. Because I was involved with the Lego house from pretty much the early beginning, and we even ran A4 workshops back then to find names for the restaurants, to find Lego signs from Lego history for the signs, like symbols from Lego history for the signs. So we had AFOLs are so knowledgeable that we sometimes it's easier for us to ask the AFOLs instead of trying to dig that in our own history.
I think
so
you recently asked for suggestions for the new restaurant, right?
Exactly.
Did you get some good ones?
I got awesome ones, and that was all delivered to the Lego house. And luckily, I must say, it's the same with the models for the Masterpiece Gallery. Luckily, it's me collecting, it's me reaching out to people or getting the data, but it's not me deciding. I give some feedback, and I collect the things, but at the end, luckily, it's Lego house deciding, because I would probably have a hard time in deciding, because I know a lot of these people, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
That's the brick waterfall. Before it was finally installed.
It's amazing. That was one of my favorite things about Lego House. I looked. I wish I had gotten more pictures of it, like a good profile picture of myself in front of that, or some different angles.
You need to come again. Boone. Come again.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, you should. But it's a lovely place. The Lego house, unfortunately, is closed right now due to the crisis, and I'm also, it's very difficult to predict when it will open again, because at the end, having people in and touch the bricks physically, it's challenging these times, and I think everybody would agree to that. So we need to wait and see how things are loosening up. But they are actually turned it around and made a positive thing out of this crisis. and they are actually have their own YouTube channel now. They have a lot of SoMe
Oh,
channels, a lot of digital stuff. They actually now, I think it's a really cool concept. They are now interviewing the people behind the models, the current models in the masterpiece gallery, to talk about their creations. So you actually not
right.
only see the models, but you also get the people who build it to talk about it. And I think that is what I really love at events. You can put the most fantastic creation at an event, and if you not have somebody to it who talks a bit about it, people are less interested in it. But if you have somebody to talk about it, you get, okay, this is why he did it, or this is why she did it. So this is super exciting. So check out the Lego YouTube channel, the Lego House YouTube channel. It's really really cool content, and they will keep on doing that for the next many weeks. They're also talking about some digital live tours. So there will be some cool stuff coming there. So that's something. But what I mentioned also at the beginning, that we now are really looking into, um, that my daily work changed so much, because of course with the Lego house I was talking about physically activities. We did fan evenings, we did exhibitions in square, we did exhibition in the Lego store and Lego house. We did guided tours for A-Falls. All these things we cannot do right now. Even the inside tour is cancelled, the first two rounds. So now we are facing a lot of digital things, and that's also cool. It's of course not the same, but it's also a cool thing.
Right, right. Yeah, there's been, it's that, it seems like everyone in the world is trying to adjust to that, right? And to
Yes,
figure out
definitely.
how do we, we can't shoehorn these things that are supposed to be, that we're used to having live into the
Mm,
virtual space. To some degree we can, and but I think it's a bigger question of,
mm,
how do we use the virtual space in a way that we never have before, or what kinds of experiences can we have in the virtual space that
exactly.
we never thought of, when we were getting together. And I know
Yeah,
everybody is looking forward to getting together again.
and
So
but
hopefully
it's a
that.
completely different layer, and I think also this layer now will probably stay,
Right,
because it's great to come together physically, and that's also my most beloved and my most favorite thing to do. But on the other hand, sometimes it's really difficult to get, for example, colleagues, especially if they are on VP level or even higher up, to get them to travel like 3 days to a show, and some are really loving it, but most of them are unfortunately too busy.
right,
But getting them in digital for an hour or two, that is doable. So I think it
right.
probably for the future we see at events, several layers. It's a physical layer, and then it's probably a digital layer on top.
Yeah. Okay, what's this?
This is a super cool motorbike, actually from a guy in Portugal, and he was an awesome builder. So I love that motorbike. And I'm not riding a bike, but it's super cool and looks very American. So I thought it fits very well.
Yeah, yeah, good, thank you.
And that's the guy,
There he is.
actually. So yeah, Manuel, and he's actually also built this Landy. So it's really it's so impressive. It looks so real. If you see it on this distance, not even look like Lego, right?
Great, yeah, it's
It
really
looks like
awesome.
it looks like model building.
Right, and if you took that out to the desert and took some really nice pictures of it, at
You
first
could think it's
glance.
it's real
Right,
stuff, yeah.
right.
Yeah. So he's a awesome builder.
That's great. Hey, I recognize one of the guys in that picture.
Yeah, don't you? Yes. And the other guy you might also, because yeah, of course, the Beyond the Brick, but the other guy is Tim Johnson
Right.
from New Elementary. So that's
So
that's
where?
actually in the back room of the Paris de Cura. They do a fantastic back room where it's such a great experience, because people from all over the world um, bring food or drinks from their local area, and they put it all in one room, and then people go there and having fun, and having a few drinks and trying food and enjoy each other. And we did some brick boxes, and it's so much fun to do sorting and chatting. And that's the most important about the event. Sometimes it's really, yeah, you do cool mocks, but having the social time together is the most important.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Oh, yeah, and Raphael says Jonas Krum is in there too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah, and that's one of my most favorite pictures, you
Oh,
know, because that's let me put it in a way that, yeah, I don't know. That was the gang of community managers back then, So it was Paul covering Americas. It was Kim covering Europe. Then you still have Kevin around, who was also back then around, and then you have Jackie, who was covering China, and myself and Kjell. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm Kjell and myself. We are the only that are left, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, unfortunately, all the others,
And
unfortunately, not around anymore.
What is Kjell's current role?
That is really a good question. I think he actually stepped down a lot. I think he's still on the board.
Okay.
Of the Lego Group and also in Kirkby, but he is not anything. He's not the chairman anymore because that's Thomas, and so his son took over quite a lot of things now. But Kjell is still, he's still around. He still has his office. He's great. He's so great. It's so fantastic to meet him and to speak to him, and basically, he's so. I have no idea, but he must remember the name of every employee somehow.
Oh wow.
So it's really whenever it's really fantastic.
All right. Okay. So the next time I'm in Billund, you're gonna help me meet him, right?
Yeah, we can definitely give it a try. Yeah, if he's around, because he's traveling quite a lot and has of course a lot of other things. But he is so nice and so interested, and so he loves to go to events. He is chatting with the people. He's looking on stuff. He's super interested in building styles. As I said, Akiyuki. He's a big fan of Akiyuki. So he's so great and so interested in what AFOLs are doing. So it's a true pleasure.
I don't usually try to put my guests on the spot that way, so I apologize.
No, that's fine. Don't worry. Let's see.
What is this?
Yeah, that's actually a guy, Thomas, who and that's the guy who's, I think I also sent you a picture where it's actually installed, but he built it, and then yes, exactly. And it's how should I say that? Actually, for the show in Prague, because Tomáš, he's member of the Czech group for the show in Prague, they actually asked for a centerpiece of the show. And I worked with Tomáš before, because Tomáš told me he can do a Ferris wheel in 2.5 or 3 meter diameter, only with Lego bricks. The only thing that is not Lego is actually the center axle. That's metal, because otherwise it would not. And he made it, and because I supported him with some bricks, because I said, no way, you cannot do that. And he proved it. He made it. He displayed it. And then for the Prague show, he actually made I think 4 or 4.5 meter one. So he made a huge one, and it's so impressive, and it's turning around, and it's so impressive. Oh, hi Edwin. I can see Edwin is typing. Edwin.
Hi Edwin.
Oh, I missed you too, Edwin.
Here, we'll show that to everyone.
Yeah, Edwin is great. Good friend of mine.
This picture, you don't get the scale from this picture, but this picture, it's like you really realize how.
And I'm not even sure if that is the biggest one he did. He really made one that was, everybody was like, he himself was like, that will not turn around, that will not work out. He even needed to rent a kind of, or he needed to ask a friend to get access to a kind of production building or something, because it's of course way too big to install in his own home or anything like that. So it's so huge, and he's actually a great guy. He's doing a show. He built. You might also have seen other things. He made a roller coaster, a very long roller coaster. He made his name is Tomáš Kasparek. He made figures out of transparent bricks, which he is putting light into. So he's doing super cool stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. What do we have here?
Yes, that's a little mock from Scareback. So it's really impressive, because it's like building puzzle pieces and put them together. So it's really I think the idea behind it was super cool. I think it was made by a Dane, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
That's a picture that's back to Lego House actually. So that's a picture from the Lego House Christmas party. We started that, and we made a Lego House Christmas party in the Lego House, and I started out with that because I felt it could be fun, and said like, hey, why not? And the Lego House people were like, yeah, okay, do you really think somebody would come and somebody would actually go to the Lego house to have some food and chat a bit, and said, yeah, probably. So it actually turned out into a tradition. I think I sent you also a picture with actually a Lego Christmas environment they had in the Lego house.
Let's see.
It's kind of red
It's close.
background.
We're close to it. It's
We're close to the
Oh
end.
no,
No, we're not close to the
we're
end.
going
Oh, there's
so
so many more pictures.
that's it right
There it
there.
is. Yes. So
There's
they made
the-
this Christmas environment for it, and it was made. Yeah, it was funny because you could go in there, you could join. You were alone in the Lego house with like 80 other people. We go usually in the World Explorer, so you can put your minifigures, which is usually, of course, not allowed. So don't do it in normal opening, but you can actually put your minifigure in the layout, and then you can take pictures, and it's yeah, it's exciting and it's fun and it's super relaxed and nice and cozy and yeah, whatever you want to say. So it's the best evening in the year.
No, that's great.
for
Okay,
me.
we'll go back. Let's see.
Are
We
we
have a
not
lot.
running out of?
We have a lot.
We are not running out of time. We're still good.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, good.
We'll just keep going. It's up to you. Are you running out of time?
We can talk the whole night.
Well,
for you, it's not night. For me, it's night.
For me, at some point, I gotta eat lunch, but that's all.
So that's an LCP meeting we had in Berlin. So that's actually a few LCPs from all over the world sitting together, and that was really fun. So you have Ryan from Australia and a few other guys. You know, Mattia from Norway. You have Robin from Canada,
yeah.
actually. Robin Sutter, yes. So a few super nice guys. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Is this the?
That's picture. I think we had that picture. Yes,
I'm going
I think you're
backward.
going in the wrong direction. So that's also one of our fan evenings we have. So we had actually Jamie, and then we have Are, our beloved Norwegian AFOL, and he's kind of a bit our. I'm not sure what the word for that would be. Moderator, conferencier. I'm not sure what word you would like to use, but it's
sure. Moderator, MC.
Yeah, but it's a really nice thing because it's he invented this concept, I think for their own show in Norway because it's so different from having a designer or a person giving a presentation because that's a monologue. If I would not say it's boring. That's the wrong word, but it's something. It gives a different feel to it if you have an interview because it's so nice. You can touch a few more topics. People would probably not talk in that direction, so it's giving a completely different feeling, and the people seem to like it. So he's running that at different events, and it's really cool. And that was why we actually joined forces with him in regards to the Lego House fan evenings. So I hope we can do them at some point again.
That's fantastic.
So that's Kev and Miguel. So Kev is the chief fairy. That's the guy with the beard. And Miguel, he is actually the main person behind the Paris Decora fan weekend. So we met in Croatia. You know, it's a British guy and a Portuguese guy meet in Croatia, and a German guy meet in Croatia to chat about things. That's the normal daily, not daily, but the normal kind of life for a few people traveling from event to event and having great experiences and have these chats about drinks.
Right.
Of course, it's an apple juice or whatever in front. It's not beer or something.
Right.
We're not drinking beer, you know.
That guy has a fantastic beard.
Kev, yeah, yes.
And John.
Yeah, John. So that's that's myself with John when I was on at BrickCan, and BrickCan was I think you have a certain style at these West Coast events.
Yeah.
I really like the West Coast events. Not saying that are not like the other events, but your West Coast events are cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's you make a lot of friends. It's so relaxed. It's a great time. It was lovely. I enjoyed it so much, and I had such a great time. Also, the same at Bricks Cascade, or also Bricks LA. It's really super cool.
There's a couple of pictures here that are so yeah. Here we go. Oh, I'm photobombing this picture.
Yeah, see, that's actually you do, and that's actually the picture you talked about, right? A bit. And that's I don't remember the name. That's Mark, but I don't remember the name of that guy. Unfortunately, I think I have his business card somewhere. But he was building these swords and these lightsabers, and it was Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. If I wasn't live streaming, I would easily be able to remember this guy's name, and someone in the chat will help us.
But he was so nice because I was.
And he's gonna be disappointed that I didn't remember his name.
Oh,
But
sorry. I put you now. I
but
put
as
you on the
soon
spot there.
as soon as we turn off the live stream, it'll come to me. I'll go, oh yeah.
But it was so cool because usually when you pass by, people are Cole Edmondson. Yeah, Cole.
The thing about
Exactly.
Cole is Cole always has a smile on his face. I've never seen Cole without a smile on his face.
Yeah, but what I also loved is kind of usually when you go somewhere, and for me it's kind of okay because I know don't touch the creation and all of that, and but for kids it's more difficult. But for him it was like he was almost inviting every kid to take his thoughts and hey, do you want to try it? Do you want to move it around? And it was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're giving all your mocks to. No, I built them that way. And I was so impressed by it because he was inviting me to touch it. And I was like, wow, that's great. And I could, it was super fun. I love that.
Right. Okay, we'll go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. I just wanted to show those because we were on Brick Can and I thought we'd go to
and that's again back to the mosaic building because that's actually in front. That's Jesper, who's the general manager of the Lego house. And in the back, that's actually our CEO. That's Niels, building plates of the mosaic.
Yeah,
so,
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So even they join.
I got to meet Niels once, and I just shook hands with him, and I just said, "Thank you so much for everything you do." And then I walked away because it was very important. It was at the Bugatti event.
Yes.
And it seemed like I don't know, those of us that walked in with our polo shirts on were I felt underdressed, right? Because you had people in suits, you had cameras rolling, you had this whole hubbub about the car, and it seemed like a very important event, but I didn't want to miss
it was the Bugatti presentation, right? The Bugatti model. I think I have one picture of that, so only for to make the content, right? That people know what you're talking about. So it was in Lego House. We actually had a real, and that's the mosaic with Kev on there. So that's
holy moly! It's way bigger. It's way bigger than I imagined.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, it's huge. I think it was 3,532 by 32 base plates.
Wow.
Or something like that. Yeah, it was huge. It was tremendously. That's the Bugatti event.
Here it is.
Yeah, so it's Kim and myself, and you. I think you must. You're sitting in the front there, yeah, right? Yeah.
This is me. This is Brett
Brett?
Cooper.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah.
Hey, Brett. So we're. I
saw Brett. I saw Brett is on the. Brett is on the. Yes, Brett is right on the call here too.
Yeah.
Hey, but that was cool, and they had it was fun story because they had this Bugatti there, and it was actually in there, and you were not allowed to touch it or anything like that, so it was only fenced off. But I spoke to the guy who was actually the security guy for it, and he said when they moved it in, because they actually drove it in, it was making so much noise when they started up and so much heat that actually all the alarms in Legos were going on.
Oh.
Because it has 1,000 horsepower engine and it's making noise and heat, and it was like, he said there was a kind of weird experience, but it's super cool. I think Kjell also bought one.
And actually. Dave, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Dave,
I think he was so impressed that he actually ordered one.
Dave Shefsik said his head is between our heads, so you got Boone's head and Boone's head, Brett's head, and that's Dave Shefsik right there.
That's true. Yeah, now I see that. Yeah, exactly. No, but that was a super fun event, and I can certainly agree to your feeling. And it was fun. It was a cool event, but it was a bit weird because we had the president of Bugatti there, and then our CEO, and then the chief designer who is actually from Porsche, I think. And he was talking these fun stories because we made the interview sessions afterwards. He was saying like, and when you ever come to drive in one of these Bugattis, and everybody was shaking his head and it's like, who on earth would ever drive in this car from us?
I remember what I was thinking was the suit this guy is wearing probably is worth more than any of the cars I drive.
Most likely. And then he was like, and these Ferraris, they really get fluffy when you drive 390 or something. That will not happen with our Bugatti. It's like, you're not driven 390, never will drive a Bugatti. So sorry, but thank you for the insights.
Yeah.
That was fun.
See.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
And
that's a little. That's actually we do these various exhibitions in Lego House, and this is actually an exhibition around Lego ideas. And that is Sander
okay,
who has been on Lego Ideas, and that is Hassan who still is a lot behind Lego Ideas. So
okay,
he's actually our engagement manager on Lego Ideas, and they did a Lego Ideas exhibition in Lego House. So we're doing these. I would not say random exhibitions, but we're doing these exhibitions in Square where everybody can go in and experience them. And we
right.
had various exhibitions, and that's really cool. So I might, you never know, I might reach suddenly out to you or you or somebody else and give you a call or something and say, hey, I have heard from somebody that you are a great builder. Are you interested in displaying? So that has happened a few times, and that's actually part of my job in regards to Lego House, to help them
Awesome.
to find cool stuff they can display in the Lego House.
Well, WGJL just asked a question. And I think it's tangentially related because you just mentioned this is a Lego Ideas exhibition. They said, "What is your favorite theme?" Boone, mine is Harry Potter. So, Jan, do you have a favorite Lego theme?
I love Technique, but I also
Oh,
love light and sound
yeah.
from the
Like you mean
past.
the old stuff with the oh that was so rad. I remember
It,
having the booklets and be like,
Yeah,
oh, I
it's
need
it's of
that.
course it's of course not really a theme because it covers about several themes, but
Sure.
it's a product line in itself, and I love that so much because I think I really I'm still so happy about this intelligent way of putting the metal into the plates and having the siren you could turn around and the lights. I think that was so impressive, and I loved it. It was so expensive, but I really love it. So I have them now, but back then I only got one set from my parents, and so it's
Yeah.
yeah.
My so some of my favorites were like in the early '90s. I really loved the space sub themes. Mtron, Blacktron, Ice Planet,
Mm,
um, and like recently, I have been really interested in almost everything that comes through ideas. I just think a lot of times I imagine if you could only collect like one sort of like group of things, if you went with ideas, you would end up with a very eclectic collection, right? If you collected only Star Wars, it would all look very gray. But and if you collected Friends, you can imagine what it would look like. But if you collect ideas, you could end up with a very wide range of different looking things. So I love ideas, and Mike Psyche and Carl Merriam are really selling me on adventurers. They, I haven't. Uh, I I remember when that came out, and I remember being thinking it was really cool, but it was just sort of right in like maybe my first dark-ish age. Um, Holy moly! Hi Jan, huge thanks for everything. I'll put this up here. Huge thanks for everything you do for the community, bringing us together. I can't wait to celebrate Bionicle next year. Do you know who this is? I'll
no.
say Avoki. Avoki gives 68. Is it Danish
DKK
crowns?
is Danish crowns, yeah.
Um, to the super chat. So thank you very much, and thank you for the kind words you have for Jan there.
Yes, thank you. That's great. I do my best to support the community as much as I can.
Let's go back to some pictures. We're this is this is cool because that looks like a oh
Oh, so that's actually Warren and Kitty Elsmore from the UK, and they are actually installing the steampunk submarine in the World Explorer. So that's actually
okay.
from yeah, that's one because in the World Explorer and Lego House we actually have at three places. We have fan models, we have a street parade, we have a robot section where we might tweak in the future, and then we have a ship which is at a K to an island, and that is actually A4 built models we are having in there and exchanging every year. So that's some twist to it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so that's actually Akiyuki. The picture is very green. I have no idea. That must be the lighting. It's actually the lighting because it's in a gym in Japan. So they had the setup lighting on. So they not really had the real lighting on. So it looks we all look very sick on this picture, but
Oh,
actually we are perfectly fine. No sickness. but it's Akiyuki, and Akiyuki is great. He's very shy. He's actually I think he's a robotic engineer by profession,
Okay.
but he's super shy. He speaks no English, but he's great. He's awesome. He's doing so fantastic GBC modules. So check it
Right.
out. Yeah. So
Like the
it's really,
best.
yeah.
Right.
He's awesome, and he's an awesome guy. Yeah, and that's actually also my colleagues, and that's also in Japan. So that's our most beloved monorail guy.
Right. I've seen
Yeah,
this style of monorail
yeah. He
online.
also has been in Scareback, and
I feel like you might be the second person that has shown me a picture meeting this guy, because I feel like, was it maybe Paul Hetherington showed me a
could
picture
be, could be, could
of
be.
this guy, and that's Sina, right? She
That's
was
Sina and my colleague Kevin Ominwa from Korea. Yes, exactly. So Sina
okay.
and Kevin. Yes,
Sina was just here for Bricks Cascade.
yes. That was a super cool day because that was actually the first photo safari, toy photographer safari we had in Lego House.
Okay.
So we actually and they of course wanted to take pictures without the crowd. So they
Mm.
actually came in at 7 a.m. if I remember correctly. And they had time until we opened at the Lego house at 10. So they actually were from 7 a.m. in the Lego house taking pictures of various angles. And they had made this special minifigure for the day to commemorate the day. And it was so cool to see adult people laying on the floor, having minifigures in front of them, a huge camera with a huge lens, and trying to get the right picture.
Yeah.
So it was a fantastic day. And it was from Stuck in Plastic, and the guys are so nice. It was such great, a great day. So it was really cool. So I hope we can repeat that at some point.
Oh, wonderful.
That's from the AFOL day in Lego House. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the last one we made, but it's actually from on Thursday before Scareback we're doing the AFOL day in Lego House. So all AFOLs can get into Lego House, can have a whole day there, can enjoy some speeches, can meet designers, can enjoy the Lego House together with their AFOL friends, see it and shop in the store and have a great time. So it's really, really a kind of another tradition we installed in
Yeah.
connection to Scareback Fan Weekend and Lego House.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Yeah. So
Moto. Oh, go ahead.
that's also very no. You want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say one of my other moderators, Moto, says just breezing through. Thank you, Moto. Thanks for joining us, and
Okay.
thank you as always for your help with your moderation of the live chat.
Cool. And Rafael, I can see Rafael says it was the last one. So perfect, Rafael. Thanks. You keep in track on that.
Great.
So that's actually Arjan. I would say one of the
Wow.
best shipbuilders I know, and I have seen so far, encountered so far. And he made this model. Actually, it was ordered by Kim and myself for Lego because we wanted to display that in at Lego World in Copenhagen at some point.
Wow.
And then it was displayed at some other places, but then it was actually stored in a warehouse. And when we now had opened parts of the Lego campus in Billund, so in the new headquarter, actually I could convince the interior architect to make a podium for the ship. And there's some glass around it when it's completely closed. This is before we close it completely on the setup day. And this ship now has found its final place in the Lego campus, and it's actually a model of a ship from Danish history. It's called Jutlandia, so it's a ship that has served as a swimming hospital in the Korea
Wow.
War. Yeah,
Wow.
and it has
Kim.
not only treated soldiers but also the normal Korean people. So therefore, it's really favored, and it's it's
Okay.
it's such a big piece of Danish history.
That's amazing. Kim is in the live chat. I don't know if you
Yes.
saw. He came
Oh yeah,
in
yeah, 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 yeah. He
with the
is
name of
there.
the ship.
Hello. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for watching.
Dalit?
Ooh, where are you here?
Yes.
Is that
Uh,
Hollywood?
yes, it's Hollywood. So that's really, when I traveled to Bricks LA, the show was great, and I have a lot of pictures of the show, and I was really like, which picture should I choose? And I could not decide which picture to choose because
Oh
I don't
man.
want to put somebody else in favorite. And then I was like, the people were probably telling me you're crazy or whatever, but I said I promised I need to go to see the Hollywood sign.
Sure.
And actually, that was what we made, and that was really great. So so we were with the Griffiths Observatory, and it was with Brandon and John,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was a super great trip. So yeah.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
a lovely memory, and of course it's also see my polo. It's a Ferry Bricks polo, and Kev he actually it's special made because they usually not do polos, but I like polos, so it's actually a Ferry Bricks polo.
Fantastic. Oh, now
That's it.
we have indeed reached the end of the slides.
Wow.
Why don't we do we'll have a little bit of dedicated Q&A. How about that? If you're watching live, go ahead over to the live chat, and what questions do you have for Jan? So we've talked a bit about we talked a lot about events, Lego or AFOL networking events. We've talked a bit about Lego House. We haven't talked as much about the Lego branded stores. We could talk a little bit more about that. But if you have questions about any of those things, put them in the live chat, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A here. But
Sure.
Jan, what can you tell us about the stores?
Yes, exactly. And we not talked about it because I not include any pictures of that, but I don't really have pictures about that.
Sure.
But we have, and I shortly wanted to explain. We have two different types of stores. We have the Lego brand retail stores, as you know them, in North America, and then we have something we call Lego certified stores, which are more kind of a franchise. It's kind of stores that are owned by some key partners for the Lego group in various countries, but they look like Lego stores, but they are not Lego owned. And now the plan is a bit to merge these two things to make sure that there's not a huge difference, that the VIP program is running in both stores and all of that. And as of course the stores are very close to the community, and fans are regularly going into the stores. AFOLs are going in the stores to do some shopping, to probably meet with each other, to have a great time, to join the AFOL shopping or AFOL Appreciation Day, to probably display their model in the store. This is definitely also a field where I spend some time to, on the one hand, educate my colleagues in the stores to make sure they understand more about AFOLs. They know how to work with AFOLs, what are AFOLs interested in, but also to make sure that the some of these activities like the AFOL shopping day is probably also happening in Lego certified stores and not only in Lego brand retail stores. So that's something I spend more time on, to make sure that there are less differences and things getting more smooth together. And these LCS stores are pretty. It's quite a large amount. Alone in China, we have kind of, I think, 120 stores now. So it's really a growing business. Of course, we're also opening more LBR stores, but LCS stores are also in a lot of other areas. So it's really great to work with the retail colleagues and make sure that they can meet the demand of AFOLs and have a great time together.
That's great. Here, let's we'll put this one up here. It covers up our faces, but it
Oh,
says from Joe.
Hey, Joe. Yes.
Not a question, but a massive thanks to Jan for absolutely great support for the South African Lego community, which is still in its infancy. But without Jan, we would not be able to have achieved what we have to this in this short period. So thank you, Jan Beyer. Awesome.
Thanks, Joe. That's great, and great to have you on the chat here. And yeah, I remember the good times. Super cool. Great.
Is it Pieter says, what's the most impressive flagship store in the world? Have you been to a particularly impressive store?
I have seen pictures of some, because the only flagship store I have been so far to, I think, if I remember correctly, is actually Leicester Square in Berlin. But I think the ones in China look super cool. So I think the China one, or the one in the Netherlands. So Peter, that might be also one for you to check out.
All right, I have to go
in Amsterdam.
I have to go look for some pictures, so I can see what cool things are out there. Let's see. I always. Oh, that's not the one I meant to.
But that's great, Edwin. So I hope too we have events and that I can see you in October. But let's see how things evolve. So the crisis is still on, unfortunately. So I'm so sad that all these events are kind of stuck and things are stopped. But it's hitting everybody, so there's not really much to do. But I think this year is really difficult with events, unfortunately.
Right. Dave is interested. What's happening with LBR employees as a result of COVID-19? Do
Yeah.
do we
What
do,
what
we- do we know? I don't know.
I'm not sure what is happening with them. So as far as I know, they are kind of they want to reopen the stores and they slowly do that in North America. But I think it depends. As you all know, North America is with all these states and all these governors who have different interests in what is can be open, what cannot be open. I think it's really difficult to predict when things get back to normal or when things get back to open. But in Germany, the stores are open again, so that's I'm not sure it's back to normal, but they are open again. So yeah, I think things are evolving in the right direction slowly. But as it's Lego employees, I believe it's nothing will really happen to them. They are kind of kept in good shape as possible. Definitely, I
Oh,
would say.
well, good.
Yeah.
Good. Lauren says, thank you, Boone and Jan, for this great session. Looking forward to more and hopefully physically see both of you again at BrickCon or Bricks Cascade. So nobody's going. Thank you so much, Lauren. We really appreciate your support.
Yes.
Nobody's going anywhere right now, but if you uh, when if things get back to normal or something close to normal and events start happening again, what is one AFOL event you would love to go to again? And are there any that you've never been to before that you would love to go to?
Tons I have not have been to because you're doing so many events. It's crazy. I Oh, that's a tough question because whatever I say, I will disappoint some people and I will not
Right.
disappoint others.
You
So
don't
so
have
that's
to.
really but it's I think um that's really tough. I think the Italian guys, they make really, really nice events, and I have not been in Italy for really, really a long time. So they're doing a really great event, which is before it was in Balabio, now it's in Lecco. It's close to Lake Como. That always has been a really, really great event. But there are so many great events,
Yeah.
and events I not have been to. Of course, it would be great to go to a location I not have been to. Like for example, Joe said South Africa. I would love to go to South Africa to an event. I would love to go to. I have no idea. There are so many South America. I've not been to South America, so it would be great to visit an AFL event in South America.
Yeah.
They
Fantastic.
do fantastic events from the pictures, but I have not been there unfortunately. So there are so many things to see. That's why we started out with a clone me picture, right?
Right. Well, and a good connection to here's a slow ball for you from Brett Hooper. Your favorite minifigure? Do you have one?
Do I have a favorite minifigure? Oh, that's really difficult. Actually, no. I would not say that I have a favorite minifigure because I think there are so many cool minifigures coming out. And sometimes I also like these custom-made minifigures, probably. So it depends on the mood, what I really like. So I think at BrickCan, for example, they had if I remember correctly, they had a Mountie made.
Oh yeah.
That was a lovely figure. That's still in my collection upstairs in my little room. So there's this Mountie is there's still that's a lovely figure. But I not really have a favorite minifigure because there's so many
You've
great ones.
you've talked a little bit about the things you've collected over the years. How do you, as a collector, I have a really hard time deciding what to keep and what to let go of and when the time is right. How do you decide what to keep and what not to keep?
Are you thinking about my private things or are you thinking about the stash?
Oh, it doesn't matter. The stat when
But
you say stash, you mean the stash that you use for
for events,
events?
yeah.
Yeah.
It both, private things. I'm of course, usually I build a lot of sets also. So I built the Batmobile, for example, and that's displayed for a while here at home, and then it's actually going away because I not have unlimited space.
Right.
So that's kind of my favorite. Or when my wife tells me, okay, it's getting too dusty, you need to do something about it. It's like, oh yeah, or there's something new coming that's super cool. Then for the stuff I have for the events, yeah, that's more random. I'm checking out the event and saying like, okay, these guys really need this and this and this and this, and they so it's really it's more stomach feeling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then of course I have my collection here from A4 models, and then that's kept. That's what I keep here and what I'm not giving away.
Okay. All right. Well, Jan, I just want to thank you so much for being with me. I think it's my time to go eat lunch with my family.
All right.
So I really appreciate your time, and
It was lovely.
thank you for talking us through. Is there anything we've left off the table? One last thing that you would hate to leave people without saying?
I want to say thank you to all of the guys. I can see Francesco there. I can see Didier actually there from France. So I definitely love the cheese he's mentioning there. So now I think it's great that you're all joining and that you have a great time. So no, from my end, is really thank you. And what I wanted to re-say again kind of is that you are actually the true stars here. You doing great stuff. You are fantastic. And without the AFO community, we the team I would be nothing. So I think you are the stars and you're doing great. That's and I'm only emphasizing or supporting what you are doing. So that's the most important, I would say.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Another give some clap emojis for our guest Jan. Jan, you're so awesome, and I'm so glad to know you. And I can't wait until the day when I either get to see you back here in Portland or I get to see you over there in Denmark.
I'm looking
Um,
forward to that too. That would be lovely. Yes.
all right. Thanks again. Hey, y'all. Please, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to Boone Builds. And until next time, go build something amazing. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.